Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is one of our sleep disorders. It is very rare, but these individuals fall asleep just whenever. While they're talking to you, they might just fall asleep. In the middle of talking to you, they will fall asleep. Yeah. Narcolepsy. Yeah. Yeah, narcolepsy is serious. People are told not to drive if they're narcoleptic because they will fall asleep at any point in time. They do medicate these individuals. Okay. Sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is literally a sleep disorder that a person stops breathing in their sleep. Okay, they usually have a CPAP on, and a CPAP is a device that when they stop breathing, the CPAP starts to breathe for them. CPAP. CPAC. CPAC. It goes onto their mouth. When they start, you'll see them almost like suffocate. They'll start to kind of like grasp for breath. The machine kicks in. It'll start the whole compression part. When that person starts, the compression part will stop. It's a scary thing to watch simply because these individuals look like they are dying and suffocating. The sad part is it can last for longer than 20 seconds. When the brain starts to deplete oxygen for that long a period of time, we're talking about some destruction that can occur. Okay, so this is a very cautious thing. It usually happens in your overweight and older adults. Yes. While they were awake? Oh, he's got oxygen problems. Yeah. You put it on? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, it's a scary sound. Yeah. Usually because you got the throat and the lungs and the whole idea of your esophagus is almost collapsing with that snoring sound, and that CPAP kind of like at least opens up the air passages to where it at least assists. But it's a scary thing to have a person stop breathing sitting next to you and you not know what can happen. Very scary. Yeah. All right, now we move into other altered consciousness. All right, so we're going to alter consciousness through hypnosis, meditation, and biofeedback. All right, the first one is hypnosis. Understand hypnotic trances are literally something that you have to be willing to engage in. A hypnotic trance, you must be willing to engage in the trance for it to be effective. You must be willing to engage in the trance to be effective. Okay, people do not need the clocks and the little twirly things to put you on hypnotism. They literally just talk to you. You can actually be hypnotized through just talk. Okay. No. You actually go through an institution. They have an institution of hypnotism where you actually get certified in it. And they teach you how to relax a person, what to do, what to go find, how you can actually explore the unconscious mind without creating false memory. It's a very intense training that teaches you how to do it. It can, but it's kind of, at the institution, no. It's literally separated as literally just the science. Okay. In regards to meditation, we have two different types of meditation we look at. Transcendental meditation and mindfulness meditation. Your transcend meditation is literally where you say mantras. Mantras are repeated phrases. Okay. Transcend meditation, you say mantras, which are repeated phrases. Anybody here meditate? Okay, it is one of the hardest things to do. It literally decreases your stress by 45 to 50% if you can actually do it. The problem is your brain must remain clear and calm through the entire process. That's the hardest part, because as you're meditating, you can't think about your stress while you're meditating. You defeat the purpose. So with the mantras, the idea behind the mantras is that you're concentrating on the phrase and not the problem. Mantras, you're not saying mantras, Cynthia.
Usually it's like in the yoga.
It might be like hum na na na, hum na na na. You're just saying something over and over, and you're concentrating on that phrase. Um, a lot of people do it in a spiritual concept, that they'll say a spiritual phrase over and over, and it's like that's the only thing you're concentrating on. But at the same time, you're relaxing your entire body. Yoga does it all the time.
Focus on our breathing.
Yeah, it's just you concentrate on something that a lot of people, you'll have them literally just feel their body, and the idea is that you're just conscious of your relaxation state and a phrase so that your brain is not traveling. Very hard to do after about 5 minutes, because your brain is always going to insert that one, how much time am I wasting? What could I be doing? What should I do after this? How much is this costing me? How do I concentrate? Yeah, I got to concentrate. I'm probably not concentrating. I'm probably worrying about it and I'm not concentrating. I wonder how people concentrate. I wonder if everybody in this room is concentrating. You just defeated the whole purpose of the meditation. But it is a very good thing to do. If you can do at least 5 minutes a day, you increase every 5 minutes a week, you would reduce a lot of stress and sickness. Okay. The other one is called mindful meditation. Mindful meditation is staying in the moment. You are only thinking about what is going on in that moment. We usually tell you to do mindful meditation with an individual present. It's the best thing to do with a partner. If you're in a relationship, you do mindful meditation with the partner. You stay in the moment, you meditate with that person in the moment, and you actually appreciate each other in that moment. Not about what you guys should have did, what you should have said, you're in the moment. So mindful meditation is staying in the moment. You're kind of holding hands, and you're literally paying attention to what it feels like to hold their hand. What do you feel for this person that's in front of you? What do you feel when they're touching you? What do you feel when they caress you? What do you feel when they rub your arm? You're staying in that moment, only thinking about that person in front of you. Very intimate, yes, eyes are closed. You can open them in mindful meditation, but we suggest you stay closed, because at that point you're literally,
Letting others stimulate.
yeah, you're literally stimulating the body. Who's in a relationship here? This is going to be personal. All right. A whole lot of single women, huh? Get your mate in front of you. You literally cross your legs and you sit knee to knee. One holds hands, and what you end up doing is you're just rubbing each other's hand. And as you go, you start to rub each other's arm, you rub each other's legs, and it's just literally you're staying in the moment. Only thing you could think about is how that person's touch feels to you at that moment. It's mindful meditation. It's very intimate, and it relaxes a lot of stress. A lot of stress. Try it for about 10 minutes. One of the most mind-blowing experiences ever. You're feeling the energy, you're feeling that presence, you're feeling it's literally like, how does this person feel when they're touching me? What does it feel like? What do I feel for this person as they're touching me? What is this touch doing to me? It's just literally staying in the moment and only concentrating about that. So try it, 10 minutes. Huh? No. Biofeedback. Biofeedback is when the body gives feedback of a condition to release stress. The body gives feedback of a condition to relieve stress. Let me explain how this works. Everybody in this room has experienced some type of stress before, correct? Who has never been under stress in their life? I just want to meet you.
Have you avoided it already?
Okay? Because we need to write a book if you have done it. Now, what happens? Everybody's been in stress, right? Where does stress start for you? In the shoulders. Biofeedback is when the body actually notifies you that you need to get control of the stress before the stress controls you. So it's literally recognizing the body's signal to get control before the stress controls you. A lot of you should learn this. The body's signal to gain control before the stress controls you. Does that make sense? It's literally your shoulders start to hurt. Literally at that point in time, you get the feedback from the body where the body is telling you, we're tensing up now. At that point, you stop. You recognize that the shoulders are aching. I recognize my shoulders are hurting. I recognize that I am feeling stressed. I need to relax my shoulders. You start to relax that area of the body that is giving you the feedback. Head starts to hurt. Most of you take a pill and you keep pushing. Well, all you did was put the Band-Aid over the problem. So now when the pill wears off, still got the headache. Makes sense? So biofeedback is literally where you use the body to regulate and control stress. All right, everybody's body gives them a warning sign. Okay, so the whole idea of biofeedback is finding out the first warning sign. Now we move into other ways we alter consciousness. These are all consciousness altering things. Hypnosis changes you out of consciousness, takes you to the unconsciousness. Meditation takes you out of your consciousness. Biofeedback takes you out of consciousness. Now we're about to use drugs to take you out of consciousness. Okay, and we're going to talk about the difference between substance abuse and dependency. What is the difference? So I just kind of use it with substance abuse? Okay.
Even though you don't need it, even though you realize the effects are not positive.
Overusing the drug. When you're dependent on a drug that you have to have it. You have to have it to function or you're going to withdraw.
What has to have it?
Your body.
Okay. It's actually going, when we look at this whole idea, you guys are right in regards, substance abuse is just a repeated action. It's a repeated action of a substance, a repeated usage of a substance. Okay, substance abuse is a repeated usage of a substance. Dependency is when the nervous system requires it. Okay, substance abuse, repeated usage of a substance. Dependency, the nervous system now requires it. A perfect example would be a substance abuse user might use marijuana. That would be a substance user. But an alcoholic, their body now depends, their nervous system depends on the drug to function. Caffeine is another one. Caffeine is a dependency. It's a drug. And you got a person that smokes marijuana because it's a substance, they're almost like a habit. You got a person that's caffeine, they must use it to function. Their body thrives, the body craves it, their body desires it, they cannot function with it. At that point in time, it's dependency. Dependency. You're not dependent on a drug. Yeah. If you just like coffee, but you can function without it, then you're a substance abuser. Because coffee is a drug. So if you just need it, like I just need it so I can function. Substance abuser. If you cannot function without it, dependency. If you can't function without it, it's a dependency. Coffee is a drug.
I like coffee, but I can do without it.
If you can do without it, you just
abusing it.
yeah, you probably just like it. It's when you abuse it, it's the person that drinks it every morning. That's an abuser. It's literally this person drinks it every morning. It's an abuser. If it's decaffeinated, you just like it because now you've taken away the drug. So if you could drink decaffeinated coffee, you just like the taste of coffee because you've taken out the drug. If it's caffeinated coffee, you now are dealing with the drug. I don't know. Does it? No.
If it's good coffee, it shouldn't matter if it's caffeinated.
It doesn't taste different?
I can't drink caffeine after 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Brings you up,
Yeah,
stimulant.
So like if we got to dinner, I always like to have a cup of coffee and I will always get decaf.
Yeah, decaffeinated. If I drink caffeinated coffee, I'm probably you would know when I walk in here, because, whoo, you think I talk fast. Sober, you should see me on a caffeine high. I'm like, this is what goes to this is substance abuse, and this is substance abuse. It's just like, but it's because I don't take caffeine in. Oh yeah, I used to go out to parties because I don't drink, and all my family used to be like, we bought you something, because they would drink and they would bring me a bottle of Coca-Cola and they'd be like, you're going to be just as high as us, because the caffeine would just give me that high. I don't drink. I don't like the way people look when they drink, so. And it tastes like gasoline going down. Yeah. I don't know why people, like when you got to take it and close your nose and do all these facial expressions and then breathe hard. Why are you drinking that? Then you gotta. That's. I'm not going through all of that to consume something I'm about to pay for it. That ain't about to happen. Now, if it tastes good, fruity, I can't tell, it's got some ice cream in it, we can work with that. We got some ice cream mixed in it with some chocolate. Then we go, yeah. Where I don't know it, you can get me. No, you put all that fruit stuff in it, then you just changed it. No. Mudslides. Yeah. Give me some ice cream and mix it in like that. Take a QT Slurpee and put it in there and don't let me know. We should. But if I could taste it, I'm not taking it. So tolerance. We all build a tolerance. A lot of people who are on drugs get a tolerance. A tolerance literally means the body has become accommodating to the drug. You know the drug no longer affects you. The body has become accommodating to the drug and it no longer affects you. We've all done this with just over-the-counter stuff. Tylenol, you become tolerant of it. Motrin, you become tolerant of it. Advil, you're tolerant of it. So literally it's the body's way of saying this no longer works for us. We've learned and figured this out. We know the chemistry of this product. Get something different. Drug addicts do that. You're immune to it. Yeah. Withdrawal symptoms. Withdrawal symptoms are physical, psychological, and emotional. Physical, psychological, and emotional. If you ever watch a person go through withdrawals, it can be painful, physically, psychologically, and emotionally. One of the hardest things to watch an individual go through. Okay, they will shake. The body will start to reject the drug. The body is literally now craving the drug. You'll see them do a lot of crying, hallucinations. They usually will try to kill themselves because the pain is just that bad. Okay? Physically, emotionally, physically, and psychologically. Reasons why people start drugs. First one, experimentation. Most people just tried it. And unfortunately, you try it once. A lot of these drugs you try once, you get hooked. Okay? Recommendation of others. A lot of the drugs like we're going to talk about, like heroin, all it takes is one try. And it gets you. LSD, one try, it's got you. LSD gives you what's called a bad trip. We'll talk about it in a minute. It can come back years later. That acid. Oh, yeah. They sure can. That's why every once in a while, it might be 10 years later, and all of a sudden you have a person with it's called a bad trip, a flashback. It shoots up from that spinal cord, and they have a hallucination that they haven't had it in 10 years, but it's in that body. The same with marijuana. Marijuana can be tracked for a very long time in your hair follicles. It's just drugs are one of those things that they grab hold to DNA and hold. We're going to talk about marijuana in a minute. All right, recommendation of others. It was recommended. Somebody said try it and you tried it. Okay. Peer pressures, reinforcements by your peers. Remember, a lot of your adolescents start drugs at that time. Most drugs start in your adolescence. Because remember, we're in that whole idea of role versus role confusion. You want to be accepted. You want to fit in. So you start to take things. Avoidance of withdrawal effects. Some people actually use different drugs and become addicted to another drug to stop the withdrawal from another drug. Okay? Cigarette smoking is a good one. People swap cigarette smoking for caffeine.
Or now that new electronic cigarette.
Yeah, I just saw somebody just doing that earlier.
Yeah, I was in the elevator, someone else was talking about it.
She probably was the same girl that I seen in the bathroom puffing. And then genetics. Understand addiction is a genetic link. If you have a parent that is addicted, you will inherit the genetic trait. Now, the key about addiction being genetic, you might not be addicted to the same substance, but you might be addicted to never trying to start the substance. It now becomes an addiction. You might be addicted to working out. You might be addicted to food. You might be addicted to chocolate. You might be addicted to shopping. You have the genetic link of addiction that was passed down from generations. Okay?
She goes shopping every day during the lunch break and it's
Yeah, I used to do it probably for about 2 years. Every day. Every day. It's relaxing. Didn't have to buy anything. I just had to be in the mall. Don't ask. You go weave shopping. You get you some good deals. You got Malaysia hair on the way? That is a different addiction. Did you? We're going to have to talk, girl. Psychotropic drugs. eBay? You went on eBay and got it?
No, but I see some.
That's what I know. I just cut my weave too. All right, psychotropic drugs. Psychotropic drugs. Psychotropic drugs are literally drugs that mess with your mind. Drugs that mess with your mind. Psychotropic drugs. Drugs that mess with your mind. We're going to break them down into 4 categories: depressants, stimulants, inhalants, and hallucinogens. Psychotropic drugs are drugs that mess with your mind, and we're going to break them down into 4 categories: depressants, stimulants, inhalants, and hallucinogens. Okay? When we say they mess with your mind, this psychotropic drug actually alters the neurotransmitter productions. Do we remember neurotransmitters? Name me one. Starts with an S or a D. Serotonin is one. Ooh, and dopamine. There we go. Neurotransmitter. These drugs actually alter your neurotransmitters. There are some drugs you will take over the counter or your doctor will prescribe to you that literally tells you mood changes, mood swings, alters sleep. These are also psychotropic drugs. So you do take psychotropic drugs over the counter as well as street. Libido would not be, it's more of a hormonal change. And a lot of your drugs do that. Even your blood pressure pills, first place it attacks is your libido. All right, so addiction and dependency. If I am addicted, I have a desire, an overwhelming desire. If I am dependent, my nervous system requires it. Addicted, I have a desire. Dependency, my nervous system needs it. You could be addicted to shopping, addicted to working out. That's the desire, but it's not a dependency. Does everybody follow? Okay, good. Tolerance we talked about, and then we talked about withdrawal. First drug we're going to talk about is alcohol. Alcohol is one of the most used drugs in America. It's a depressant. 10 to 20 million of adults are alcoholics. That's a lot of people. Understand, alcoholics are usually functioning, which means they go to work every day. Okay, they function just fine. Yeah, we have those lovely. Everybody, they give it all different kind of names to say I'm not really one, but yet I don't drink all the day. Half of your Americans usually drink on a regular basis. Half of Americans drink regularly daily. A beer is drinking. A glass of wine is drinking. Half of your Americans have at least a beer and a glass of wine every day. Okay? 4 college students a day die from binge drinking. All right, 4 college students a day die from binge drinking. Binge drinking is consuming large amounts of alcohol at a quick rate. And that's sad that 4 college students a day are dying from it. It's alcohol poisoning. Body cannot manufacture that alcohol that fast. For women, right now, the rule is 1 glass is your tolerant level in regards to saying you can actually drive. After 1 glass, you are now considered over the influence, over the limit. Men are allowed 2 glasses. Right now, Georgia has dropped it down to point, I think it's like 4 or 2 or something like that. They're going to get closer and closer to where they can get down to as low. The lowest they want is they really want to do 0.1. They probably want to really do 0.01, which really means if you have a sip, you're under. And the whole idea is to cut back. Georgia is probably one of the largest communities that have the most DUIs ever, which is why you have a school on every corner of DUI. I've lived in 5 different states. This is the only place that has DUI schools. So it's an intense place, but it's something that the government has got a hold to. It's taxed. So oftentimes when you're purchasing alcohol, you're really paying the tax more than you're paying for the alcohol. Okay. When it comes to it is a depressant that actually attacks the nervous system. It is a depressant that slows down your nervous system. It actually takes and lowers all inhibitions, which literally means you feel you can do whatever. You often hear people say, a drunk man speaks a sober man thoughts, which literally means it takes away your inhibitions. It makes you feel like it's okay to say whatever, do whatever, think whatever. You've seen enough Maury shows. Jerry Springer shows and all the rest of the shows. Why did you do it? First thing they want to say is, we were drunk.
Blame it on the alcohol.
Blame it on alcohol. They even got a song for it because they blame it on alcohol at all times. Okay? It does impair cognitive functioning. You start to think slower. You process slower. This is why you ever see an alcoholic who thinks they're driving really fast, but they're driving 5 miles per hour. And they're like, I'm going to be good. They're not going to see me. Well, you don't know that you're going 5 miles per hour. Okay? It's literally a serious drug. It has been noticed that alcohol intensifies the natural personality type. Alcohol intensifies the natural personality type. It also intensifies the current mood. If you are angry and you drink, you become angrier. If you are happy when you drink, you become happier. If you're just at a settled tone, whatever your true personality type is, when you start to drink, you will intensify your personality type.
It's because most people are shy when they drink and come out of that.
Because that's who they really are.
They're just hiding.
They're hiding because they're probably uncomfortable. And once the comfort level goes down, it's called liquid courage. Take a shot, you got liquid courage. You can say and do whatever. The problem is people are consuming it at large amounts. In regards to alcohol, men are more likely to be alcoholics than women. Okay? And you need to know Asian and Asian Americans are least likely to become alcoholics. Okay? Why? Usually their culture. The whole idea of outside drinking is frowned upon. That whole idea of celebrating, they're not a celebrating culture. We celebrate. If you ever look at Americans, we celebrate everything. We I mean, yeah, we celebrate. You came to class on time. You come home like, oh my God, drink up. Well, what happened? I went to class on time all day this week. It's like, I did a whole 8 hours. Give me a drink. We celebrate everything, and they don't believe so much in that celebration of, they don't even really celebrate big accomplishments. So it's a different one. Opiates is your next drug. Opiates come from what we call poppy seeds. Okay? Opiates come from your poppy seed. It is a narcotic. There are man-made opiates, which are your morphine, heroin, codeine, and Demerol. If you've ever taken one of these drugs, you were literally high under a narcotic, which was an opiate. The doctor's offices were required never to give more than 7-day supplies, 3 to 7 days of these drugs, because they're so highly addictive. Some kind of way, Pfizer got involved, switched up some things, and now we're giving people month supplies, 90-day supplies of narcotics. These are addictive medications. Morphine is one. If you've ever been on a morphine drip or a morphine pill, it is one of the most euphoric feelings of just feeling like you're floating. Everything is great.
Dilaudid, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Had a kidney stone, couldn't get over the pain, so they gave me Dilaudid, which is a short high.
Yeah.
It was the first time I learned what meant riding the dragon, because you can feel it into your veins throughout your entire body.
Yeah. My dad had a kidney transplant surgery, and they gave him morphine, and you can only have so many drips per 24 hours. He's a very militant, very authoritative man. And when he would take one hit, it was just, you saw one drop, and he would be like, hey. And we'd be like, Dad? He'd be like, no. It changed his whole persona from one drip. And it's a serious, very highly addictive drug, and it's addictive because it makes people feel so good. Some people do not manufacture it well. So you do have some people who they are not very well at manufacturing morphine, so they actually have a horrifying experience from the morphine. It hurts them. Okay, it can cause delusions. It can cause them to be pained. It can cause a horrible experience because they cannot manufacture the drug in their system. We need to stop them from taking it because it can actually cause them to start to itch, scratch, and put holes in them because they're having such a horrible experience.
I had with that, and they had me on drink all day. I was only in there 4 days, but in that 4 days, it was a work button. But before I could leave the hospital, they had to detox me.
Yes.
So when they started taking that, you can't do that to others.
Yeah. Detox hurts really bad.
It was, well, it was very quick, I was really surprised
Yeah.
that nobody repeated that before.
Yeah, and it goes back to that whole thing. All it takes is one hit. Once you get that one hit, that feeling is just you want it, you desire it, and you say like your body becomes you want it. Your body needs it now. You had another question?
No, I was just agreeing with you. I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people can't manufacture it well, and it's a horrible thing if you can.
Can any of those be given to pregnant people?
Supposedly no, you're not supposed to, but do they? Of course they do.
I mean, because I went into premature labor when I was 32 weeks, and when they sent me home, they gave me a shot of something to make the pain go away. And I was talking about flying tacos.
Yeah.
That's all I-
The problem is with a lot of these drugs, you never want that baby to take it, because if we just look how fast she got hooked. We're about to give it to this fetus that is still developing. We're about to give this drug that is highly addictive to this woman. She's gonna manufacture it, and so is this baby. We got a problem. So there are a couple of pain medications that they do give to pregnant women. I'm hoping it's not an opiate-based drug. I don't really know.
All I know is when it wore off, I went
Yeah, we hope it's not. I hope it wasn't an opiate. But how far were you?
See, she was supposed to know.
Yeah, it's kind of like at that point, your baby's kind of manufacturing a little bit better, because we can give a baby morphine if we have to. So you're a little bit better than compared if we were giving you at 4 months, 2 months. Depending on what the baby's going through. I mean, babies hurt too, and especially if you see a baby with a crack addicted baby that's going through withdrawals, it's a painful experience for them. We might give them painkillers.
Do you know about the laws? I have I wouldn't even call her a friend, but I have this person I know that she is 38 weeks pregnant and she takes Suboxone, which is a dependency, it's something to get off of opiates, Roxy's and all those things. She's on Suboxone. She's prescribed for that, but she's only supposed to be taking 2 milligrams a day. But other than that, she's taking very large amounts of Adderall and Vyvanse.
Mhm.
She's not prescribed to those. And
How far is she?
she's 38 weeks. She's supposed to, and see, like, her doctor knows about, of course, the Suboxone because she's prescribed for that. She's not worried about that one. But she doesn't know, the doctor does not know about the Adderall or the Vyvanse. And I'm afraid that the child's not going to make it because she's going to be self.
You can actually report her to DFACS. She-
That's
yeah.
what I was thinking of doing, but what I was saying is, well, like, the moment that they have to drug test the child anyways.
They can actually test her now, because she's considered child endangerment, even if it's a fetus.
That's what I was thinking because of the Suboxone, which they know that they're gonna have to withdraw the child. But see, I heard that now that if you are going through withdrawals and you have a child, then you're gonna have to the child has to stay for 6 weeks to
Detox.
have withdrawals. Well, none of her family knows. Her boyfriend doesn't know, his family doesn't know, and her mom knows about Suboxone and not about Adderall and Vyvanse. But Child Protective Services will take her child away, right?
Not necessarily.
How would she, that's what I'm saying, is like
They'll do what's called Family First. And Family First comes into the house for so many months to monitor, to make sure she's in detox. They'll make her do some random drug tests, but Family First comes in to monitor her progress for a certain amount of time to see if she can,
What if she has no intentions of ever getting off this box?
then they're taking the baby.
Okay, and see,
Yeah.
her boyfriend.
They're gonna make her go through Family First anyway. I mean, it's a sucked up program, but.
Protective Services are automatically gonna be in there because they're going to have to take the child to withdrawals and they're going to see the Adderall and Vyvanse in the system. But what I'm saying, she's taking Adderall and Vyvanse, I'm not just saying she's taking one day.
The problem is she can defend it right now, but they're gonna have to test and monitor her to see the levels, because they're prescription drugs that she can defend, and because she was written.
She's buying those, and you know what else she's doing? To get these Adderall and more Suboxone, she's going into pharmacies, and she's pharmacy shopping, and actually changing the prescription.
Well, she's
on
now got
her-
federal offense going
Yes,
on now,
so she
so she's
actually
got
has
jail
an
time.
EPA on her case with that. She's
Oh, yeah, the
been
baby's
going
going-
to 6 pharmacies.
The baby's leaving anyway.
She's gone.
Yeah,
That's what I
but-
try to tell, and see, my friend talks to her, but she doesn't talk to me, she knows how I feel about it, and she knows that I would probably smack her, and.
Yeah, the baby's
What are you
gone.
doing?
Once the federal government gets involved, you can't keep the baby unless they put her in a facility where she can keep her infant, but
But
that's a long waiting list for that. Oh, that baby's already affected developmentally. So right now, unfortunately,
Develop normally at this point.
there's gonna be
And
cognitive
it's a sad
impairment.
thing because
And
I
probably
feel
motor
that
skill
she
development.
doesn't even be having a child, so she doesn't even care to stop struggling. She doesn't care about the child's well-being.
One thing about dependency, understand,
Is when you're addicted.
I know
you're
once
not
I'm
thinking about
addicted-
anything but
I
yourself.
mean, I know exactly my husband, I mean, my ex-boyfriend is the same way. He's a drug addict, and, that's
Yeah.
why we're not together today, he's not a father of my child.
yeah, once the dependency becomes more important than the,
Yeah, and I've known that, of course, because he changed drugs over my child, so I've been there and I've seen it. But it's just a whole other level when you're a woman and have a child.
It's the same-
Done it,
same
it's just
thing.
like- But
It's the
I
same.
hope and pray that the child's taken away, and I hate to say that, but like in this case, she cannot take care of the child, because one, she doesn't want it, and two, the boyfriend's not gonna be there, so she's gonna have postpartum depression. She's gonna be alone, but she has to be focusing on the child and what it needs to take care of the child, and like waking up and feeding it every 3 hours.
once she delivers, they'll be in there. Yeah.
My pharmacist was telling me, because I count large amounts of Lortabs
Mhm.
and Vicodin, she was telling me that codeine right now is an epidemic, that more people are dying because of codeine than any other drug out there. And we were talking about marijuana. I asked her what her opinion was on filling an ounce compared to 90 Lortabs, and she said, by me filling that ounce, I know that the worst thing that's gonna happen to those people are they're gonna eat a lot and fall asleep.
Mhm.
Whereas when I'm counting 90 Lortab, I don't know if this person is gonna be.
Comatose and heart attack.
So
Yeah.
that's a big,
It's-
big thing right now.
You also know with the codeine, it's the one drug that the doctors give out so quickly. Cough syrup, they give it to children, so it's one of these things that are given out. I usually tell people I'm not even allergic to it, but when I go to the doctor, they say, "What are you allergic to?" I say codeine, and I say it so quickly because I don't want a drug that I know I have the possibility of getting addicted to. And there's too many other things out there you can give me. So if I got a cold, give me something else. The first thing they'll say, "Or what are you allergic to?" Codeine. I'm not allergic to it, but I just don't. I'm not manufacturing it. I don't want it.
And they took
I don't want
Demerol
it.
off the market.
Yeah, heroin is the one that is huge, and heroin it's been out since it got big in the 60s. And what heroin addicts do, heroin addicts actually find different ways because they leave what are called track marks. And track marks are vein marks because your vein collapsed from exposure. So a heroin addict actually shoots up in the veins, and after so long, the veins start to collapse because they've been used too much. So your heroin addicts actually start to learn different places. So you'll get them in their toes, in their thighs, in their private parts, in their tongue, in their eyes, any place that is open and they can shoot this drug. It's a very highly addictive drug. It has a look that you can tell a person has been on heroin because it actually destroys the body from the inside out. It gets this weak, fragile look. And these individuals will do whatever to get their addiction, but it is an opiate. So when you look at morphine, heroin the government got a hold to it in the 60s in regards to it being such a destroying product that they started to create alternatives. So you have the methadone clinic that literally says, we'll swap your heroin addiction for this methadone. So you can actually wean off of heroin, we'll give you methadone to try to compensate for the pain you're gonna feel. The problem is people swap the heroin addiction for methadone addiction. So you have, I think Gainesville has 6 methadone clinics. You probably don't even know it's a clinic. You just walk by and you see the people standing outside. They're literally there for their dosage.
How do they justify that?
Their idea was that it was a better product in regards to manufacturing it, and they had control of it. And what I realized with the government, as long as they got their hand on it, they're a little bit better with it. And that's all they did. Just like they're going to manufacture, eventually they're going to get their hands on marijuana, they're going to tax it, and then it's going to be available all over. But once they did that, they just swapped it out. That's all.
Way to get off heroin.
No, unless you want to quit, you're not gonna quit. Plain and simple.
You got to go through detox. So you go through the
You can't
detox.
go through the detox.
Oh, yeah.
You can't go through all that.
Oh, yeah.
And fight it on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
But there is no slow.
I would ever tell a person, don't try to do cold turkey with heroin because heroin is such a strong drug that it creates so many painful things.
So is the detox off the methadone easier than the detox off the heroin?
Well, the detox is the one thing with heroin, when you give the methadone, it's the chemicals are supposed to be different. So the addiction is the same, the chemicals are supposed to be different. And the chemicals are supposed to be man-made in a laboratory instead of heroin, which is street-made.
So it doesn't matter. Still, your detox is going to be just as tough either way.
Yes.
But how can you not go cold turkey?
You can go cold turkey, it's just going to be painful. If you choose to go cold turkey, literally after all the drugs we have, if you decide to go cold turkey, you can do it. But remember, you're stripping this DNA, you're stripping this nervous system of a drug. Usually people won't last. They usually won't
That's
last.
why they always go back.
They won't last.
I'm also, if a mother that is dependent on a particular drug just pregnant as a baby, does that mean that baby also is taking the drug? And how do you protect them?
Usually when we have crack babies are usually our ones that we use the most. Crack addicted babies became really prominent in the 80s. We see more crack babies than ever before. And what happens is the mother is consuming a product, the baby consumes the product. So literally as the baby's organs are developing, it's developing around this substance. So when this baby comes out, we can't give this baby any substance to help them. So if we use this type of thing, when this baby's born, we're literally taking this baby into cold turkey. This baby's going to be born with the idea that they're addicted to crack substance, but they've got to go cold turkey because we don't have a supplement to give them. So they're screaming, they're shaking, they're in physical pain because the crack cocaine is being pulled from. I mean, for 9 months they've used on a regular basis. Every time my mom used, the baby used. So this baby now is addicted to the drug, and now this baby no longer has the drug. There are certain drugs that are street pharmaceuticals that when a baby's born, we have a supplement to assist the baby. So at that point in time, when you have a crack baby, you usually don't even give them pain medication simply because we're giving it. And you'll see them.
Development of the baby.
Oh, it's horrible. Because usually what will happen, a crack baby, we usually know around 12 or 13. Cognitively, they're delayed. Physically, they're usually smaller in size. Attention deficit in regards to attention span. You can tell because they've been through that entire process. You guys saw chapter 3. That whole developmental stage, crack was being embedded into their system.
They were too busy detoxing to even think about developing emotional and physical.
And you can see them like when they're first, if you ever take a trip, you can always go to a neonatal unit. You can tell a crack addicted baby, they're very small in size. They're usually very fragile, and you'll see them doing a lot of shaking, and they're screaming, but they're shaking literally because they're going through detox. Sometimes. It's too much pain sometimes. And usually that's when they'll put them under and literally let that baby go under while they detox.
Like
And is
sleeping
there a
off.
chance that the child might use this?
And that's the fear. Their fear is they're very careful about swapping and putting that baby under, because if I swap this baby's already addicted to a substance. I'm about to give them this substance, and they're kind of trying to stay away from it. But if it's too painful for that child can go into shock. So sometimes they have to do it. Yeah, it's a sad thing to
Choose
watch.
the lesser of the two evils.
Which is where the whole heroin methadone came from. Choose the lesser of the two evils. But it didn't work. The problem is for a long time, the computer systems in the methadone clinics weren't hooked up, which means you're supposed to do a certain amount. The government decided you would get 1 hit a day or 1 hit a week. Well, they didn't hook the computer system up. So what did the heroin addict do? They hopped from hop to hop to hop. So they got more hits because they did not track it. So when they thought it up, they just didn't think it out real good. And your drug dealers, one thing about your addicts are brilliant. They're brilliant in getting their drug. They are. They're brilliant at getting their drugs. They're going to get their drug. And you got to remember we talk about that whole rating. They're rating the drug in regards to importance. Everything else falls under the importance of the drug. Barbiturates are depressants. These are your sleep medications. Barbiturates are sleep medications. Ambien, most used barbiturate, puts you to sleep. Very highly addictive. If you ever listen to the commercial, the Ambien commercial, it will tell you that there's an addictive medication. The little butterfly. It will take you away, literally.
My favorite sleep commercial are those NyQuil sleep commercials.
Yes, Z's. If you notice, listen to the NyQuil commercial. What does it make sure? What's the first part it tells you? Non-habit forming, blah, blah, blah. Why? Because barbiturates are one of the most habit forming. Habit forming is different than addiction. Okay? Melatonin can become a habit forming drug. Does everybody understand when I say habit forming? Ritalin can become a habit forming drug. How many knows a child who's under Ritalin, ADD, or ADHD medication? Okay, what happens when they forget their medicine? What do they say if they mess up? Huh? And then what happens? What is their excuse for what happened in school that day?
I didn't take
I didn't take my medicine. seriously, that medicine isn't even out your system yet. You've been on it for 2 years straight. You miss one day, trust me, it's not out your system. But because it becomes a habit forming thought that I'm gonna take my medicine.
Well, and then you have to take responsibility for your action.
And that's what happens a lot of times with a lot of your sleep medication. You become habit forming. Benadryl is another. Benadryl can become habit forming. It's a non-addictive medication, but if you start to say, I can't go to sleep unless I take this Benadryl, it's now habit forming. Okay, so NyQuil's whole thing is it's not going to be this habit forming drug. But if you take it 21 days straight, guess what? It's a habit. Yes. Well, that's a lot of your night medications do. The first thing on our ingredient is usually alcohol. Why? Because it pushes you to sleep.
Just take a shot.
Take a shot.
Is Ritalin a barbiturate?
We're gonna talk about Ritalin. Literally, hot toddies. You ever heard of hot toddy? Hot toddy is nothing but alcohol, and it pushes you to sleep. Same thought.
And they'll tell you to do hot toddies for a cough.
Epidurals. Epidurals are not psychotropic drugs. They're just those are muscle relaxers.
It goes directly into.
Yeah, it's going straight. You have insomnia?
Like, I can take a nap during the day, but when it comes to night, I'm like, no, I don't want to sleep.
You try holistic stuff first. If you don't want to take it, you can try holistic things first. I'm an advocate for the holistic nature store. I take 12 different vitamins every day, just because I don't want to take medication. Go in there and tell them, and they will literally walk you through. There's even a holistic, I don't know if you guys have a holistic doctor here. I went to a holistic doctor once, and they could look into your eyes and actually tell some of the things that are not functioning right from looking at your tongue and in your eyes. And they can give you certain medication that will literally be a natural supplement. You can always try it, but if not, you'll be on that medication for the rest of your life. I don't know if you guys have one. It was an experience that was really different. Where is it one? Yeah, they literally like look into your eyes, and they can see from just looking at your eyes if something's wrong with your kidneys, your liver, your colon, your stomach, everything. And then they tell you, look out your tongue. There's certain areas in your tongue that shouldn't be doing these different things. And then they give you drops. And I took 27 drops you put in your water for different things for a while. I'd rather do that than, my mother has hypertension, my daddy has diabetes, and I don't want either one. So I take cinnamon to deal with the blood pressure, the diabetes part, and then I take working out to deal with the blood pressure part. So it's just, you learn different things. Cinnamon is good to take every day. It literally keeps your glucose levels balanced.
The multivitamin I take from Prothera has cinnamon.
Yeah, cinnamon is a great herb. If you want to, you could take it straight every night. Honey and cinnamon, and break down fat while you're asleep. But it's one of the nastiest things to get down.
That's why you gotta put it on the honey.
Is it
Because that way
honey
you just,
actual, is it
It needs to be cinnamon bark.
you do the honey and the cinnamon together.
Yeah, it's got to be cinnamon bark. Yeah, don't go to the grocery store and get that $1 cinnamon. That ain't real. It's got to be cinnamon bark. Yeah, cinnamon bark. Yeah, that's the real bark.
cinnamon is actually the bark of the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it has to be real cinnamon powder. It can't be with the sure.
If you see it say cinnamon bark, you know it's the real stuff. But just get a peel.
Can I get the bark and
Yeah, that's real. If you do that, you really taking, that's as pure as you can get.
Let me go from side to other side.
If you take it at night, the problem is getting that cinnamon down because it tastes like slime. It turns into slime.
I'm just saying that right now while we're talking.
You gotta hold your nose and think that it's, you just gotta think burn fat, because it's gonna slide down your throat while you. It's supposed to be where you boil hot water and you take a teaspoon of cinnamon. You let the cinnamon and teaspoon of water simmer. Once it cools down, you do not put the honey in until the water is cool, because once you put honey into hot water, you break down the enzymes. You need the enzymes to work. So you got to put once the water cools down, you put the 2 teaspoons of honey in, and then you drink only a half of it just before you go to sleep. Just let me tell you, the cinnamon when it warms is like, you seen Cinnabons? It's like that. So it's trying to get down your throat, and it's like
I can't even eat eggs, that is not going in my.
you kind of have to go like this and put it all in your mouth, and then go and hurry up. In the morning though is where you drink the other half, which is worse because now it's set in the refrigerator, and now the honey is clumping and the cinnamon clump.
So you do a morning dinner?
Yes.
But it's so
So
good
now
for
you
you.
go
I did.
walk-
But it's great for you. It kills. Let me tell you all the things it do. I'll upload it for you. It actually kills cancer agents, any type of herpes you got in regards to cold sores. It actually does blood pressure. It does glucose levels. It flushes the kidneys from any type of stones. It actually assists you in regards to cholesterol, bad cholesterol dropping, and it helps with all allergies.
So you do a cup of water?
I upload the recipe. I'll just upload all of the recipes. I literally just like find these recipes. It's like it's got flush water. Flush water just literally flushes all of the poisons out of your body, and it's just like a bunch of fruit. You just put in some water and let it marinate for 24 hours, then you drink it. I upload all of them
But no, no similar thing.
at night. Try it, Blessing. Just try one night. But when you come that one night, don't say nothing to me that next morning when you be like. But you'll burp all day, but the burp just tastes like cinnamon. Oh yeah. You nursing? Oh gee, let me look that up first. Don't give wait. Let me look it up. All right, we talk about stimulants. Stimulants are uppers. Okay, your caffeine, nicotine, and methamphetamines are all your uppers. Uppers are stimulants. Uppers. We call them uppers, literally because it pushes you up. These are your Ritalin. All your ADHD medications are actually stimulants. They're all uppers, which is a really surprising for people because people think ADHD medication, why would we give you a stimulant? Well, for some strange reason, when ADHD people take stimulants, they actually manufacture them into depressants. So a child that has ADHD or ADHD, we give them caffeine, they come down. Okay? This is why a lot of people in college were taking Ritalin to speed them up so that they can study longer. Adderall so that they can pay attention longer and study for, stay up for 24 hours because they're not ADD, ADHD, and they're taking stimulants. So we're going to break down the stimulants, and the first one we're going to talk about is amphetamines. Amphetamines gives you a very euphoric feeling. Okay? Amphetamines are those things that you've got Ritalin that will become an amphetamine. It will help and can cause insomnia because it gives you that let's go feeling. Okay, so your amphetamines gives you a rush. If we go back for a minute, you'll see your amphetamines also includes meth. Speed, crystal meth, and ice are all amphetamines. And we're going to talk about them a little bit further in detail in a little while. But we'll first talk about the stimulant cocaine. Cocaine is a stimulant. Very physically damaging and dangerous. A lot of your people use cocaine and function just fine. A lot of your entertaining people are using cocaine on a regular basis. Singers, actors, politicians, they're using it pretty often. It's very illegal. Well, what they do, what they do, Cindy's like, oh my God, they're illegal. Yes, they are, but they are using it. What they do with cocaine is sometimes just placed inside the upper part of the mouth and is absorbed into between the gum and the lip. What started to happen is the drug dealers found that most people could not afford cocaine because it was an expensive drug. It actually comes from what we call cocoa leaves. They started to realize it was too expensive for the common man to do, so they started to cook it. When they started to cook it, they realized that it was too pure in its form, so they had to increase their product. So they had to take a pound of cocaine, and they wanted to make 5 pounds of cocaine. So they thought, what can we do to increase our business by cooking this? So they started to put baking soda, rat poison, flour, anything of a white substance. They mixed it with the cocaine, they cook it, it then became a crackling sound, which they got the idea and said, we'll call this crack. We'll then harden it, sell it, break it off because you can actually break it. We'll break it off, place it in a bag, sell it as a small quantity, make more money than those people who can't afford cocaine. So cocaine became crack. Cocaine is your rich man drug, crack is your poor man drug. And it comes from the crackling sound that cocaine makes when it's cooked.
That part, but I knew that, yeah,
It cracks. I mean, you wonder why you. My mother always says, "Why do you learn these things?" I'm like, I don't know. It's just interesting. Um, Crack cocaine is a mixture of everything you can get in a house that's white. Crack cocaine is either put in a pipe and is snorted in regards to cocaine. Cocaine snorts. Crack is usually melted down and is smoked in a pipe or injected. It can do different type of ways. If you can get some if you can get cocaine base, you got to get the base first. So it's almost like you got to get your flour. Like if you're making a cake, I hate to use it as the same thing, but you got to get your batter. You got to get your cake. Betty Crocker got to come before you can make your cake. You got to get your cocaine first. If you go get your cocaine first, yes, you can create you some crack in the house.
When you say cocoa leaves, are you talking about the same plant that produces chocolate?
No.
That's the exact same thing.
Poppy seeds, same as poppy. Also, no the whole idea of your cocoa leaf was actually implanted in Coca-Cola for a long time. So when Coca-Cola first came out, they actually injected cocoa leaves in the Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola got its name Coke from cocaine.
Is that the secret?
That was the signal.
That was the secret ingredient.
That's the secret ingredient in the beginning. I hope not. Cindy, like, we going to take them down.
Originally created as a medication.
Yes.
Which is why they
Injected it.
put the cocoa leaves in it.
It was literally designed in the beginning to help with, some of the. I just saw it yesterday. Did a whole thing about it. It was literally done for a lot of things. It was supposed to assist in it. Yeah. So,
So crack you said was melted and then
crack cocaine is literally hardened cocaine mixed with other products.
With fillers.
Okay. All right. We then move to nicotine. Nicotine is an upper. It's a stimulant. Nicotine. Nicotine comes in cigarettes. It contains a lot of chemicals inside. Nicotine is not a pure drug. Okay, if you are a smoker, I always tell people the way you can tell the products that are inside of your cigarette. Take a puff, take a white Kleenex, take a puff in, then puff out onto the white Kleenex. The color and the different shades that you get on this white Kleenex are the poisons that are leaving the body from the ones that are not consumed. It's usually black, yellow, and brownish looking. And you just do it for one puff. Just puff in and then blow out like that into the Kleenex and then look at the Kleenex. These are all the poisons that are left inside that are released in the body. Very toxic things, highly addictive, very hard to get off.
The rest poison's going.
Poisons, the rest of poison. So it allows you to see, if I did this was what left out, you can imagine what was left in. This is why you get the blackening of the lungs, because it is tar literally residing onto the lungs. The lungs cannot manufacture the tar. Who, the fingers? Yes. It's just nasty. But if you're into it, get off.
Now.
Wean off. Because you're not going to be able to just be like cold turkey. It will take you through some detox.
When I come in here, I'm all like,
I'll tell you, take caffeine. Unfortunately, I usually tell my nicotine people, swap it for another drug. Caffeine. Oh, you on caffeine and nicotine? I can't help you there. We just got a cold turkey you. The whole idea is the idea of thinking. Tobacco is another one. So your whole base is tobacco. Tobacco has now become beyond nicotine. So you got people that's doing huff. You got people that's doing snuff. You got people that is doing hookah pipes. All of these are still bases of tobacco. We have a task force that I work with for about 5 years to where we were trying to cut back on tobacco being sold to adolescents and youth, because it was such a rapid selling product that adolescents were starting to use at a rapid. So we would hire children and then take the children into different facilities and then try to shut down a facility for selling to people under the age of 18. The first thing we would attack are the whole idea of a Lucy. Lucy's were cigarettes that were sold out of the pack. It is against the law to sell one cigarette. So we would literally first try to get and crack down on the Lucy. So we would literally hire 9 and 10-year-olds. They would go in and ask for a Lucy, and then we would come in and first give the store a fine. When we'll come back 2 to 3 years later, if you're still doing it, we're then going to close the store down. You cannot sell one. So we started doing the crackdown. After that, we started to see if we can do any type of product. If you ever realize they sell blunt wrappers and all these other type of wrappers in the store, we then would send the children in, see if you can buy cigarettes or these wrappers, tobacco wrapping products. If you get in, we're coming in right after to shut the store down. But the whole idea was to try to get the stores accountable for selling, because children are usually starting early. You rarely hear of a person say, I started smoking at 20 years old. Most of them started in their adolescence. So the thing was, if we can get you in quick, we can stop it. And it was something we did for a long period of time, very active. We then started to look at the hookah pipe, because hookahs became this huge thing that everybody wanted to use. So the hookah bars started popping up everywhere. Well, the problem is, when we started to dissect the hookah pipe, we started to look at the hookah to see what is it in regards to it being sanitary, safe, and okay. When we started to look at the hookah pipes, every place we went into, they would say, well, we give everybody a new lip piece, a new mouthpiece, so we're good and we're safe. Well, we started to say something's not right, so we started to dissect and we started to test the holes in the hookah pipe and found that the bacteria actually was thriving inside of the holes. So what started to happen is, every time you breathe out into this hookah pipe, bacteria from your mouth gets trapped into the holes. Well, the holes is dark, it's warm, and it's moist. At that point in time, the bacteria started to thrive. The next person then comes and takes off the lip piece, puts their lip piece on, they then insert bacteria. Now we have two bacteria that are now forming to create a new bacteria, and now the next person breathes in the bacteria back and forth. So we started to realize that the hookah pipes were not only causing problems in regards to lung and tobacco, it was actually causing bacteria infections because of the trapping inside the holes. So this is why now you'll see a lot of people at hookah bars bring their own hookah, just because of the bacteria that can be trapped, because they usually don't clean this part. They don't clean the holes, because the thought is they're cleaning the difference in regards to the mouthpiece. Yeah. And the hookah bars now it's a rapid place. It's a tank. It's literally, it looks like I Dream a Genie kind of bottle, and it has a tube that comes out. In the hookah bar, in the hookah bar actually stays inside. The device stays, and you just come and insert your mouthpiece according, and you do it. Yeah. But we usually tell you, if you're a hookah smoker, get your own, invest in your own hookah pipe. They sell them all over the place. Grab you one and bring them into the bar and take it back out with you.
I never knew that. Thank you for telling me that.
I think I got one.
Never go to a hookah bar.
If you go to the bar, you see that?
Public sharing is just not a good idea.
Literally, hookah pipes are literally used to smoke tobacco. So you'll literally see inside of the tobacco at the top, the hookah machine, you lift it up, and they sometimes put flavored tobacco in it. And when you put it in there, it boils up, so it brings the vapors. It's supposed to be a safer type of smoking. It's still, you're getting the fumes into the lungs and you push out. So it was brought out to say, it was really a Middle Eastern thing that they did. The Middle Eastern did it in regards to celebrations, and they brought it over, and now we've adapted to where we now have this so-called safer way of smoking. But they use a lot of flavors for it. So it is a tobacco-based product, but it's placed with flavors, and it's placed on top because the vapors are what you're inhaling instead of the drug. Yeah. It usually smells better. It smells a lot better than regular tobacco cigarette smoke, but it's still a chemical. All right, so we talk about your nicotine. Methamphetamine. Meth is actually divided into two parts. We have what's called left meth and right meth. You probably have all taken left meth before in your life. Okay? Left meth is just anything that stops with a D. Cold and sinus D. Advil D, Aleve D, Robitussin D, Sudafed D. All of those were what we call left meth. It is the primary product needed to make methamphetamines. This is why now you have to sign for it. You no longer can just go to CVS and grab it. You have to sign for it, because it is literally used to make meth. It is your left meth. Left meth is anything over the counter. It's your antihistamines. Yes, you get your card and you take it back, you sign. What you are doing is you are telling the federal government, I will not, read what you're signing one day, it just tells you, I will not use this to make any type of product. I will be taking this, I'm not buying it for mass production. If I do, I understand I will have a $15,000 fine and 5-year jail time. Aleve, Cold, and D. Aleve, anything D, anything with a D in it, you have to sign for it. What it is also doing, When you slide, it sends your information to the federal tracking system so that they can track you now that you are not buying large quantities. If you're large in quantities, you red flag, they're coming to get you. They're coming to check to see if you're doing meth.
Believe it or not, Georgia is, because I'm in the pharmacy, believe it or not, Georgia is the #1 for meth, and we have the worst system for tracking it. Everywhere else you go, you give them your ID and they scan it.
Yeah, or they slide
In
it
the state of Georgia, we are so far behind that I have to take your driver's
and
license.
input it in the
And I have
number.
to write everything on a
Oh.
book. And then the DEA comes once a month to take the book. It is the stupidest
Where do you work?
thing, Publix pharmacist.
Oh, because CVS got the slide now.
Yeah, so maybe you guys are updated.
Yeah, CVS slides you now. CVS slides your license, the code on the back. You need to tell Publix to get up to date.
Telling them, because it's a pain in the butt, it takes 5 minutes.
And
I think
Publix
someone
is
can
so
drive.
slow.
That's why they slow. Oh, but yeah, CVS, you just Walmart, they slide it through, but
It's like an act of Congress to get out that door with that drug.
it is, and it's literally because it's the biggest popular. And understand with meth, meth is an airborne drug, which means if I make it and cook it in my house, everybody that's in the facilities in my house that smells the fumes from my house actually gets the high. So children are actually being affected by the smell. If you ever watch them take down a meth lab, they'll wear their hazmat materials simply because it is an absorbing drug because it is literally airborne. Your right meth is when it becomes addictive. So I take left meth, I add household products to create right meth. Aerosol, Freon, anything that I got in the house that works, I'm adding it. Meth is one of these drugs that, depending on your manufacturer, you get a different drug. Every meth ingredient is different. Meth is so large now that you can actually Google meth ingredients online and it will tell you how to make meth in your home. Yeah, it's that serious. Don't Google it because it's usually linked. You're flagged, so don't go looking. It is a 6 to 8 hour high. That's a nice high. That's a very intense, long high. One thing with meth people can stay up for 24 to 32 hours. Okay, it's just literally that. The problem is it does create some problems in regards to attacking the system. It actually attacks the system from the inside out. When we say that, this is what happens after just 4 years of meth use. 4 years of meth use.
So sad. Oh my God.
I hope so. And then this is meth mouth. Meth mouth, the chemicals actually eat away at the enamel because it's such a poison inside.
Like my kids just got out of St. Vincent in, when I was in Phoenix, they have huge billboards, I mean, just regular billboards, and they've got that same kind of picture, the before and the after.
Yes.
Or where they've got,
It's serious.
yeah.
It's serious, and it destroys inside out, which makes it even worse. When you see that skin, if you look at this lady's skin, look at her skin. I mean, it literally has killed her skin from the inside out in regards to elasticity, in regards to look at her sores that she's got here. It's literally eating because you're taking in those chemicals that you can't manufacture. She's taking in gasoline, Freon. She can't manufacture that.
I saw this picture in my
It's horrible. Marijuana. Imagine we are looking for THC, highest used drug in the world in regards to illegal. I love when people say it's not addictive. Yeah, that's what everybody say. It is a very addictive, it's a very natural product, but the problem is, again, they are not keeping this natural and pure either. Your drug dealers are literally saying, we got to make a better product than the man next to me. So you have a lot of your marijuana that's laced. Okay, your marijuana is laced with other chemicals. Cynthia, we got to get you into the world.
I'm not into all those drugs.
I'm not into it.
Y'all talk about it. Like, what is
Laced marijuana is literally when we add another product into the marijuana to make it intensify its potency. So you might have it laced with cocaine. You might have it laced with fluids of any type of sort, and it's trying to keep you laced. It's literally just to get you high. Marijuana is a hallucinogen. We mix it with something else. LACE. Just lace it with something. They'll never tell you it's a lace product. That's against the code of ethics of the weed man. The weed man not gonna tell you it's lace. The weed mans have ethics. They're not gonna tell you it's lace. Mhm.
has the stuff for the cancer patients.
Mhm.
Is that stuff?
Those are the pure.
That is pure.
Yes, pure marijuana in its purest form, grown outside, is a very strong product. But because they want to, again, mass produce it, I now can use a smaller amount, lace it, get you just as high as if I gave you whatever, which is usually what they'll do.
So it's grown more cheaply that way.
Oh, yeah.
Marijuana is
Cancer, your medical marijuana is literally a pure form. The weird part is California has now come up with different types of pure marijuana. I think they're just giving it names because marijuana is a plant. You can't, it's a plant.
It grows and it buds a flower. And they smoke
Yeah, they have
Indian voodoo.
glucose. Yeah, what's that
But
called?
it's not good.
What's this one? Glaucoma. Yeah. Yeah. So you got the HIV, the pain one. We're testing THC. The teenagers decided they needed to get marijuana-like substances, so they started to do spice. Spice are literally incense that are sold at the grocery store or at the gas station. What they started to do is they realized it resembled the look of marijuana, so they started to smoke it. Because it does not have the THC chemical in it, it literally was causing a lot of brain damage. Last year, we've lost, I think, six children in 1 month to smoking spice. It's sold at the store. You can just go out and buy it. And they consumed it. It literally says on the bottom, do not consume, but the children were literally saying this is the one way we cannot be tested for drugs. They took it.
They said that well, he works there, and they said that the kids between 16 and or something, that was why, well,
Yeah.
that was the highest like rate of like not anorexia, not
Mhm.
suicides, but it was because that drug. And this one kid had actually been in there and had no idea where he was for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
Not even at a race.
And the sad part is spice is bought in the store.
Same thing with that
The
bath salt.
spices.
It's bath salts the same.
The ones sold in the store, what do they use it for?
It's literally incense. Spice is an incense. It's literally usually called apple. Yeah.
So what about sweet tarts? That's what they do in the schools now. They smash the sweet tarts
And sniff it.
in their little bag to make a powder and
They're
sniff it.
sniffing it.
Yeah, sure does.
It's a sugar. It's not going to do much because it's a sugar high. But the problem is your adolescents are the ones that usually comes up with the drug because they're trying to find some ways to do it. And I'll tell you a couple other ones. Your PCP is your animal tranquilizer.
Huh?
Animal tranquilizer is PCP, sold on the street. Angel dust, PCP, LSD are all the same type of form. These are your acids.
Good, so fast, right?
These are your acids. They last 4 to 6 hours. Hallucinations, you become detached from reality. When I say hallucinations, these are vivid, real hallucinations. I mean, as vivid as possible you can get. You are Superman. You're Wonder Woman. You can lift cars. You do lift the car. You can really lift a car and you will lift it. You have undeniable power and strength. You fly. You might really go on the building and go fly. You will die, but you will fly. This is the drug that stays with you for life. It will come back. Now, the drug dealers, here they go again. They started thinking, how can we get this population younger? We need younger population. So in the 80s, they decided to lace all of the stickers that the children would lick and put on their hand. They went to the playgrounds and passed them out for free. They just gave out the stickers because the thought was if I get you at the age of 8, I now have you and trapped you at a younger age. I now manufacture a larger thing. So they went to the playgrounds and were just handing out the stickers. It was United States. It was literally coast to coast. And you just lick it. They put it on your hand. And they were at the playgrounds handing them out. The thing was, I lick it, you put it on your hands because acid is absorbed into the skin. The kids would lick it, and now they would come back and they would tell the drug dealers, I want another sticker. Well, now you got to pay because they had got you now addicted to the acid, the LSD.
What was the story? I never heard that. Same thing with meth too.
Yeah, well, they've done it for a lot of stuff because they just want to get you at a younger population. The younger I get you, the more I get, the longer I have you. MDMA is ecstasy. Molly is a form of it, but it's still a little different. It's mixed with some other stuff.
Well, I heard my sister, she's in high school, she was talking about
Yeah,
Molly.
you want to be careful with those. Your MDMA is your ecstasy. Drug dealer got a hold to this one and literally said we need to make it more exciting, so we're going to put some characters on it. So they call them Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman's. It depends on what you get. A lot of children thought if we only take half of it. The problem is it is an unscored pill, which means you don't know where all of the MDMA is located in this pill. A pill that is not scored means it is not balanced in regards to the medication. So if you take a pill and you cut it in half, if it's not scored, you might get all the medication on one side or the other. A scored pill says 50-50 split. Medication is split on both sides. So when we talked to this MDMA, they were splitting the pills. The problem is some of the kids were taking all of the MDMA. You had heart attacks, you had hallucinations, you had a lot of problems, and it was a rave thing. It came into the rave field first. People were giving it, it now even looks like Listerine strips because they changed it to even get you faster. So now you're just putting it on the tongue and it's absorbed into the mouth. They thought they were doing that because you hear a lot of people like, oh, I've never taken a whole pill, I only took a half. Well, because it's an unscored pill, you don't know if you took the whole drug.
Does that have like different bases though? Like sometimes there's heroin or cocaine or crack or
Mixed with all kind of stuff.
all that stuff mixed in with this?
Ecstasy is one of these, it's a cocktail drug, which literally means we mix anything and everything. Then you have tranquilizers. All I want you to know what a tranquilizer is, that it is your anti-anxiety medication. Anti-anxiety medications are tranquilizers. Xanax, Valium. These are all tranquilizers. They are relaxing pills. Tranquilizers are relaxing pills. Yeah, they are happy pills. They make you feel really nice. Stay that way, Cynthia. Stay that way. They're happy pills. Relaxing. Anti-anxiety. Then we have inhalants, the newest field of drugs. Inhalants are what we call our huffers. These are your huffers and your sniffers. What the huffers do, they take toxic products and sniff them. Back in the day, remember those big black ugly markers that you kind of had to write and then you had to stop for a minute and then you write? They would literally just sniff them and get high off of them. They also take glue. This is why now you are not allowed to buy whiteout, glue, or markers unless you are 18. Target will now try to card you to buy these products because the children are using them to inhale. What they will do, even the things that you clean the computer off, and hairspray, and Cool Whip, anything that's in a Rady Cream product. Yes, so that you can kind of sniff it. What they do, a lot of times they'll take a piece of paper, paper towel, rag, spray it on there, and then sniff it up. All of you have been high off of this before. If you ever clean a room, a bathroom, and didn't have the window open, that's the high they like. They're going after that high. Okay, we call them huffers. And the other one you need to know are your prescription drugs. Prescription drugs, what happened, your adolescents are invited to what is called a Skittle party. At the Skittle party, you are asked to bring at least 4 to 5 pills of different colors. The reason why we only do 4 to 5 pills is literally because you can go into your mother's cabinet and she will not recognize 1 to 2 pill gone from her container. You then come to a party. There's about 20 of you invited to the party. Everybody brings 4 to 5 pills. You then put all these 4 to 5 pills into a punch bowl. You mix the punch bowl around and then you pass the punch bowl around. You then take a scoop out the punch bowl and consume the cocktail of medication inside the punch bowl. The excitement is not knowing what you're going to get with the Skittle party. It's really huge right now, and prescription drugs is the highest because parents don't recognize that 1 pill is gone from their container. So, blood pressure, Viagra, cholesterol, diabetes, estrogen, you don't know. Have a good one. See you on Wednesday. Bring chapter 6.